Thanks very much. Let's go to the White House. Claire Shipman is on the phone. Claire, what's that we're looking at?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out right now. All we know is it's a gigantic plume of smoke coming from behind the old executive office building, and we're told that the White House itself, the West Wing, at the very least is being evacuated, that our personnel from there are being asked to leave. We've sent people running over there to try to find out what it is, but we don't know yet.
Now, the old executive office building is slightly to the west and a fraction to the south. So we are looking southwest from a camera just across Lafayette Park, which is north of the White House. The White House is to the left side, out of your picture. Maybe even the cameraman could give us some appreciation. But you have no idea. Was that an explosion? Did you hear anything?
We did not hear it. In fact, we were trying to figure out from the White House what security precautions they were taking around the White House in the wake of the apparent attacks on the World Trade Center, and we suddenly just saw the smoke rising from behind the old executive office building. We have people on their way there now, but it's like nothing I've ever seen. I mean, we've never seen that kind of smoke coming from anything that would ordinarily occur here.
I must also tell you, Claire, I think if you think about what's behind the EOB there, you're really down in pretty open area. It doesn't look like a place where a building would be on fire.
No, that's right, although there are a number of buildings just behind the old executive office building on G Street that could potentially be on fire, but nothing you would necessarily think of as a target. Apparently, we're also...
Claire, let me interrupt you for a second. We now have fire confirmed at the Pentagon. John McCarthy at the Pentagon can hear me. John, please get in touch immediately if you can and brief us in there. John McCarthy has actually been evacuated from the Pentagon, and parts of the Pentagon are indeed being evacuated. We want to hold our breath here, it just seems to me, for a second, and not get into a mode that the country is under attack. But we now have 2 attacks on the Twin Trade Tower Center. U.S. buildings, city buildings completely evacuated in New York City. We have this mysterious black smoke at the southwest corner of the White House, which is to say there's something going on behind the old executive office building. We now have a report that fire has been confirmed at the Pentagon. ABC's John McCarthy, our Pentagon correspondent, who's been plugging in as quickly to the intelligence and counterintelligence units there this morning, has been temporarily evacuated. But that is as much as we know for sure at the moment. John Miller, go back to what you're hearing on your nets.
Actually, it's interesting. In New York City, they're reporting on what we're seeing here also, essentially trying to tell everybody that heightened security is important now.
John, I apologize. There's a lot of us here. What are we listening to there? Say again. Say again, please. Come here, John.
Constantly reporting that bomb squads are checking out Air Force One before the president.
Good. Trying to correct. So we have bomb squads.
I think you're going to see a lot of this, and I think we were talking about this a few minutes ago. In fact, when I was telling you that in New York they were evacuating the municipal building, the United Nations, Gracie Mansion, which is the mayor's residence, all potential targets, I suggested to you that shortly in Washington you'll probably be seeing the same kind of reaction at sensitive symbolic locations. And apparently that's become more than a concern, but perhaps a reality.
Okay, we do know, or at least the Associated Press is now reporting, that an aircraft crashed near the Pentagon, and the West Wing of the White House, as Claire Shipman told us, was evacuated amid these threats of terrorism. I guess first of all, let me go to another eyewitness. ABC's Bill Blakemore, one of our senior reporters, has been an eyewitness to the New York incident. Bill, you on the phone?
Yes, I am, Peter.
Go ahead.
I'm down at 12th Street. It looks like we're more than a mile north of this very surrealistic site, and business has completely come to a stop here. Looks like throughout lower Manhattan, people standing in the streets, cell phones aren't working. A few of these phone booths, such as I'm talking to you from now, are working. One man just shaking his head said to me a few moments ago, I was supposed to be at a meeting in the building at 10:30 this morning, and then I saw the second plane hit the tower in this flash of light. There's a complete cessation of regular life. There's one delivery man standing here looking like he doesn't know where to go with this stack of beer crates. So all of lower Manhattan is just standing in the streets on this sunny morning looking at this unrealistic sight in front of us, this gray smoke coming out of the Trade Center.
Okay, Bill, talk to as many people as you can. Call us back when you can.
I want to let you know we're going to get back to ABC's special coverage, but we ourselves, what started in New York is now happening in Washington. We want to get more into that this morning.
That's right. I'm Carol Costello. Don Hudson. We want to go live to Sam Ford right now. He is live at Reagan National Airport with an update on the air crash at the Pentagon. Sam Ford, tell us what you can.
Well, Carol, as you can see, there's this huge cloud of smoke behind me, and that is the location of the Pentagon. We had come here to National Airport to, continue our coverage of the situation in New York because the airports had been shut down. No sooner had we gotten here and stopped the car than we looked up, and there was this cloud of smoke billowing from the Pentagon. There had been a traffic accident here at National, and a number of emergency vehicles were dealing with that. Then suddenly we saw this, and I would say within a couple of minutes they were all tearing out of here, heading toward the Pentagon. We asked folks here. One of the police officers told me that he had heard a plane had gone into the Pentagon. Obviously, more of the situations in New York. People here are extremely nervous, and some are saying that they wanted us to leave this area. We don't know if they're going to shut down the airport or evacuate this place. If this is a concern, at this point, people are still here, but there is concern about the safety of this place. Obviously, with these bombs going off or planes crashing into buildings all over the place. But that's it here. As you can see the smoke, and you can see, paper flying about. Yes, Carol.
Sam, a question for you. We understand that there is a tail section of a plane sticking out of the Pentagon, and a plane did hit the Pentagon. Is that true?
Well, at this point, Carol, we are at National Airport, so all we can really see is the flame. Now, I understand we have some photographers over at the Pentagon. I cannot tell you exactly, but from our vantage point, we see smoke.
Sam, if I can interrupt, we do have an eyewitness who actually saw this event take place. They're on the phone with us now. Is it Mr. or Ms. Gurman?
Mr. Gurman.
Okay, Mr. Gurman, tell us what happened.
I saw a big explosion, a bowl of fire. My window rattled, and I looked at it. It was a big bowl of fire and the smoke coming out. But I'm looking at it right now. It's missed the Navy Annex. It missed the Pentagon. It's like missed so many high-rise buildings. It hit probably a parking lot, or there's a cemetery behind the Navy Annex.
Mr. Gurma, did you actually see a plane?
I didn't see a plane. I heard the explosion. I thought it was a flyby because I live next to the airport. My window rattled. I looked out. I saw a bowl of fire and just smoke coming out.
Are you feeling nervous right now, Mr. Gurma?
Oh, very much so. I thought I was hit. I mean, the building shook so much.
Well, you're not the only one, that's for sure. As we keep you on the phone, and Sam as well, we're now getting reports that the White House has been threatened here. We're also getting reports the Capitol has been evacuated, the West Wing of the White House evacuated to go along with all this. What started at 8:40 this morning, New York, is now threatening, of course, our city, our safety, and a lot of folks
and
very concerned.
The pictures you're looking at right now are from our live cameras. You can see smoke pouring near the Pentagon. Mr. Gurma, do you want to add anything? I can hear you're still on the phone with us.
I'm trying to get out of here because I live a few miles from the Pentagon.
Okay, you get going, Mr. Gurma. We understand. Thank you for joining us. Let's go to a White House shot that we have right now. The White House West Wing has been evacuated, as we understand. We know that President Bush is not there, but he is on his way back to Washington. You can see the armed guards on top of the White House keeping watch. But at this point, they, as well as we, don't know exactly what's going to happen, but everyone is on standby, as you might expect.
And as you mentioned, in case people are wondering and didn't see President Bush in Florida for an educational issue down there, he made a brief announcement about this and said he was on his way back here to deal with it, and of course saying that the terrorist acts will not be tolerated and that they will be looking into it. But after he made that comment is when it happened at the Pentagon. At that time, only the 2 planes had crashed into the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center in New York.
We wish you could tell you more about what's going on in our own backyard at the Pentagon. We don't know if there were any injuries. We do know there was a construction scene on the scene at the time. We do know when they heard something explode, they turned around and they started to run. We do not know if anyone inside the Pentagon or around it was hurt.
Okay, we have another person on the phone. Janet, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
We understand that you witnessed this plane, a plane crash into the Pentagon?
Yes, sir, I did.
Tell us exactly what you saw.
Well, I live in a high-rise building just outside of Roslyn, and I was actually glued to the television, and I have an office here, and it's all glassed in, and I saw a plane just coming right in front of my window, flying at a path that the commercial planes do not fly. Not coming into the direction to land at National Airport.
How big was the plane?
It certainly looked larger. Every once in a while there's a flight path difference for smaller private planes that come in. This was not a small private-looking plane. It looked more like sort of a commuter-type plane.
And you said
it was sizable, yes.
And then you said it was headed directly to the Pentagon.
Yeah, it was heading in the direction of the airport, and I thought, this plane is way too low, and there's no runway that it goes in that direction, and it didn't turn at all. And I just, as soon as I saw it, I knew it was way too low and not on a flight path that I'd ever seen before living here.
Okay, and what did you hear?
I couldn't hear anything from where I am. I just saw the plane just disappear out of my sight beyond the trees, and then I just saw massive billows of smoke. And then a few minutes later, I heard it was, and it basically is obviously right where the Pentagon is. I can't see the Pentagon; it's covered with trees.
Are you in a safe place right now?
As far as I know, I'm in my apartment where I live, so I am on the 13th floor of a high-rise in Roslyn here.
Oh. We can see on the bottom right-hand corner of our screen, you can see the firefighters spraying at the Pentagon, trying to put out that fire. Jan, were you already aware of what happened in New York when you saw this coming?
Yes, sir, I was. I was glued to the television because I actually am running an event in New York at the end of the week.
Oh, you poor thing. Okay, we're going to go back to our Sam Ford, who's at Reagan National right now. We understand the FAA has taken some action. Sam, can you tell us what it is?
Yes, Carol. Because of this situation, the FAA has shut down all aircraft flights across the country. I think it is a situation where it is too dangerous. Right here at National Airport, you normally would have planes taking off and landing. There are no planes taking off or landing here. The skies are clear, and there is smoke covering the area. This gentleman is named Todd Nelson. You were just picking up what debris. What is it? Some sort of...
It looks like insulation. I was just standing here watching, and all sorts of paper and debris and insulation.
I'm sorry, yeah. This was what?
All sorts of paper and debris and insulation were just flying down, landing on us over here, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, some sort of insulation or some sort of debris that appears to have come from the Pentagon crash coming through the air. You could see papers flying through the air, things like that. So that's the word from here. We're hearing the FAA has shut down air traffic